Bring back rock.
Hey, it's Dean and welcome to Bring Back Rock. Today we're talking about a band that was suggested to me by one of my very best friends, and also a couple of viewers have also suggested this band. It contains a bona fide rock god from the 80s. It also contains a singer who's, in my opinion, certain aspects of his voice remind me of David Coverdale. Not his whole singing voice, but at times reminds me of David Coverdale. They're a bluesy, ballsy metal band. A couple of you suggested it. A lot of you love them. Most of us have heard of them, and now we're going to talk about them. This is Badlands. Before we get to Badlands, let's quickly look at the events that led to its formation. Many of you know that guitarist Jake E. Lee was in Ratt with Stephen Pearcy before leaving to join the band Sexist and then moving on to Rough Cut. After being seen in Rough Cut, he was offered and accepted the invitation to join a former Black Sabbath vocalist solo band. No, not that one. Yet. First, he joined up with this one, Ronnie James Dio. Around this time, another former Black Sabbath vocalist, yes, that one, was looking for a permanent replacement for the deceased Randy Rhoads. Dana Strum, who recommended Randy to Ozzy, also recommended Jake. It came down to Jake E. Lee and Dawkins George Lynch. Ozzy apparently settled on Lynch before switching to Jake. Now, I'm not going to go into depth with the Jake Ozzy stuff here, but suffice to say, a couple successful albums later, Jake was out and looking to form his own band. So, what better place to start than yet another former Black Sabbath vocalist, Ray Gillen. Ray brought drummer Eric Singer with him, a former bandmate in, you guessed it, Black Sabbath. Bassist Craig Chason, brother of Keel's Kenny Chason, filled out the lineup, and in 1988 Badlands was born. Their self-titled debut album came out on Atlantic Records in 1989. Due to the fact that this was Jake E. Lee's first band since leaving Ozzy, there was quite a bit of fanfare and press around the band, and the album did fairly well, coming just short of going gold. Eric Singer left the band before follow-up Voodoo Highway, due to musical differences as he wanted the band to take a more commercial approach. He was soon tapped to replace Eric Carr in Kiss following his passing, and has basically been there ever since, aside from the short-lived reunion the band had with original drummer Peter Criss. He was replaced by former Racer X drummer Jeff Martin. Alright, here's where the drama starts. Sometime in 1990, Ray Gillen was diagnosed with HIV, the AIDS virus, which at the time was a death sentence. The band's third album, Dusk, was already written, but Ray Gillen went behind the band's back to the label with songs he had written that were much more commercial. Now, I'm not sure if he wanted the label backing and getting the band to go in that direction, or if he was looking for a solo deal. Either way, the band found out about it and fired Gillen. Jake E. Lee believes he did this because he already knew he was dying and wanted to have commercial success to leave his daughter more financially secure before passing. Those are just Jake's thoughts, looking back in hindsight. Obviously, no way to prove that. Now, a new vocalist, Debbie Holiday, was set to go on a UK tour fronting the band. When that fell through, the promoter convinced Gillen to come back for the tour. During the tour, Kerrang! Issue number 399 came out, with Jake's interview announcing Gillen's replacement and airing some of the dirty laundry. On stage, the final night of the tour at the Astoria, things came to a head in front of the crowd, with Gillen producing the magazine and claiming there are two sides to every story, while Jake was mouthing, "It's all true." Either way, the band played amazingly, finished their set, and that was the end of Gillen with Badlands. Singer John West was next brought in as a replacement vocalist, although they never recorded with him. In 1998, Badlands' third album, Dusk, was released on Pony Canyon Records. Now, according to drummer Jeff Martin, this album was really a rehearsal that was recorded and was done in one take. He says the only time they stopped was when he was having trouble with one of his mics on one song. They fixed the problem and continued on. If that's all true, it's pretty amazing. He claims the only person he can't hear making any mistakes on the album is Jake E. Lee, and it's astounding how well Gillen sounded. He also said that Gillen didn't have all the lyrics done. A lot of the lines are just him making vowel sounds to the melody, which I have to say I paid attention to a couple of songs, and there are some lines where I can't pick out a single word. Following Badlands, Ray Gillen sang one song on George Lynch's Sacred Groove, and he formed the band Sun Red Sun, passing before final recording was done. Ray Gillen passed away from complications due to the AIDS virus on December 1st, 1993, about 3 years after initial diagnosis. Ironically, Gillen's replacement in Badlands, John West, later played with George Lynch and was brought in to finish recording vocals for the Sun Red Sun album. Jake released some solo albums and recently re-emerged with his new band Red Dragon Cartel, which featured former Badlands bassist Greg Chasin. They released 2 albums, a self-titled Red Dragon Cartel in 2013 and Patina in 2018. Now COVID put the band's touring on hold and they haven't seemed particularly active since. At the end of the video, I usually tell you where you can find them. I can't really do that without addressing the elephant in the room. Why can you not get the band's first 2 Atlantic releases anywhere? Well, there's a famous rumor out there that everyone in the business and fans of the band have all heard. The rumor states that Ray Gillen continued to have unprotected sex with women even after he knew about his AIDS diagnosis. Now remember, back in the day, HIV was a death sentence, and according to the story, several women have died. And Atlantic vowed never to have Badlands music available on store shelves, or apparently streaming, again, whether as a concession to the families or as protection from a possible lawsuit. The band really can't confirm or deny the story. They admit that they also were not easy to work with and butted heads repeatedly with Atlantic Records over the course of their contract. However, after 30 years, you would think if money was to be made, that hatchet would have been buried a long time ago. There seems to be something more. What we also know is that on at least 2 occasions, the band was all set to have their albums re-released, most recently on Rock Candy Records in 2010, and almost immediately the licenses were pulled. Regardless if the rumor is true or there's some other reason, all we really know is there is little hope of the album being available again anytime soon. All right, it's music time. Let's get to a few Badlands samples and I'll catch up with you at the end of the video. Alright, so that was a little bit about Badlands. Now, we mentioned in the video that you cannot get the first 2 albums on anywhere, really. So where can you find it? Well, the secondary market, but you're going to pay a pretty penny. Last I checked, vinyl was going for about 150 bucks. The CDs were going for about 50. There are some people who have uploaded music on YouTube. That's about the only place to check out those first 2 albums. Dusk you can stream. Dusk is out there. It's available. I'd like to thank everybody who watches, everybody who has subscribed. Danny, Maria, Kelly, Metal Guru, to mention a couple. I really appreciate any time anybody hits that subscribe button. I appreciate any time you spend watching my videos. That's why I do it. So we'll catch you on the next episode. Thanks for watching.